Possibly we had a fan episode. Let's talk about what the fans are discussing when it comes to Kevin Durant, Spurs, and Mitch Johnson.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Hope you're having a great day. And as always, we appreciate you stopping by here at Locked On Spurs, your first and only spot for all things silver and black. Don't forget to subscribe over on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app. You know what to do. Go do that ASAP and leave us a comment while you're out there at the YouTube page, and we'll love to read it in a future episode of Locked On Spurs. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, what are we talking about today? Well, if you can see in your screen if you're watching on YouTube, it's pretty obvious. But if you're not, we're having a fan episode. It's been quite a long time since we had a fan come on and rep the fan base on pretty much the hot topics around Spurs fandom right now. And we all know what that is. You can see it on your screen right now. It is KD Spurs rumors. Will he be wearing a silver and black jersey or not? We're going to get the fan reaction to that. What are fans saying? Do they love it? Do they hate it? Are they whatever? And also Mitch Johnson. Yeah, Spurs have anointed him the successor to Popovich, but we haven't heard the fan feedback yet regarding him. So we're going to get that. And then we're going to play a game of buy and sell with our fan guests today. He has no idea what we're going to bring up. I didn't prep him. He has no idea what I'm going to ask him. He's going to be on the hot seat in just a few minutes. I was going to bring on our fan guest. Look who's back, everybody. It's Sith Elias.
Hey,
man,
what's good,
It's
Jeff?
been a while. Yeah, man. Thank you for stopping by here.
Thanks for the invite, bro. It's been a good minute.
Yeah, make sure to follow him on X at Darsucio_95. For the Aussies who speak Spanish, y'all know what sucio means. I'm not going to repeat it here.
Yeah.
We all know what it is. We all know what it is. But anyway, Elias, we welcome you back. It's been a while. You know how these things work. Not only are you going to give your personal thoughts on the topics today, but you're going to give us what the landscape, what the Spurs fan base in total are thinking about when it comes to the silver and black. You know what those questions are. We'll get those in a few minutes. But the streets are saying you have a show as well. Is that true? I mean, it's been a while, but you got a show coming up?
Yes, man. So we moved on from the wrestling stuff, and I started a show over at Sweep the League TV ran by Rudy Campos Jr. You believe you've had, El Metal on plenty of times.
Yep.
So the show's called Pleading the Sith. Well, we sit down. It's almost an interview show like yours, but we tend to go a bit unrated. And like your newest segment, I give them no prep time. No one knows what questions are going to be asked. We put them on the hot seat. Are they willing to answer, or will they plead the Sith?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, he'll describe that more in detail and then where you can subscribe to his show in just a few minutes. But Sith, you are here to give us the pulse of the fan base. You're repping the entire fan base. Let's dive into it. When it comes to the Kevin Durant Spurs rumors, I mean, by this point, you might as well put him in a freaking silver and black jersey at the rate we're going. I mean, Vegas has the Spurs atop the odds of them landing Kevin Durant in a trade with Phoenix. You have Talking Head A saying, it's down to the Spurs and Houston. Then you get Talking Head B. No. It's Rockets and Raptors. It seems like a mixed bag, but the Spurs are always seemingly in the mix. It seems they never have fully and completely fell off the map when it comes to the chase for Kevin Durant. Now, knowing our luck, Sith, that's going to happen while we're recording this, but in case it doesn't,
probably.
Yeah, but in case it doesn't, let's start off with the fan base's thought, okay, before we get into your personal thoughts. Are fans okay with the deal for Kevin Durant, or are they hating it, or are they whatever?
What I've been seeing, a lot of fans, they do want Kevin Durant, but they're not willing to pay much for him. They want basically a complete one-on-one trade-off, whether it be Vassell for KD, which is never gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
They don't compare in what they bring to the team. Kevin Durant is averaging 27 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. Man, you can't just do a one-on-one trade offer that way, man. We have others who are willing to move everyone, but Jeremy Sohan. It seems like Sohan and Castle seem to be the deal breaker on a lot of people's boards. They're willing to give up the second-round draft pick and even move the likes of fan favorites like Keldon Johnson, Vassell. The 14th draft pick seems to be what everyone's pulling for, but Phoenix is going to want more than that. Kevin Durant's not only a multi-time All-Star, he's also a champion. And I think that's what the Spurs need. They need a champion around these young stars. They need a veteran presence too beyond Harrison Barnes and Fox, in my opinion.
No.
But
sorry, I thought you were taking a pause there. Just real quick though, I left Steph Castle's photo here, so everybody can see what we're going to talk about. But I was going to ask you, did you say some Spurs fans want to see the Spurs make a deal involving Castle?
some of them are willing to move Castle. Most of them are claiming he's untouchable. In my opinion, I personally wouldn't move Steph Castle. For anyone other than Antetokounmpo, but since we're out of that running, KD's just not the person to lose someone like Castle to, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, I think for me it's going to be I better give myself a damn good return if I'm going to give up Castle. One more thing before I take this picture off here. Are we saying that he's untouchable?
A lot of fans are saying he's untouchable, which he's, rookie of the year. He's probably, I've been calling him the pit bull on the court. He's been the heart and soul of, the team this year. He outlasted Wemby, outlasted Fox, but I just don't get it, bro. I understand why he's untouchable, but they're also throwing the likes of like Jeremy Sohan in the untouchable discussion, and that's where I think some of our fans could be pretty delusional, If Sohan's the only thing keeping us from getting KD, I say go ahead and pull the trigger. Yeah. But by no means do I move Steph Castle.
Let me get your reaction to this. Let's just say Spurs fans wake up in the morning tomorrow and they see the Spurs have made an overnight deal with Suns and that Kevin Durant's coming to San Antonio. Do you think they will be cheering or they will be booing?
A lot of them are going to wait to see what the trade-off is. That's as far as I can tell you because that's what I've seen on the timeline. It's we're all for KD depending on the package. So depending on who's involved, that's gonna lead them to either cheering or being mad as hell and trying to burn the city down.
You're wait a minute, you're telling me Spurs fan base is gonna go riot on social media? No way. I think you're joking with me.
No, never us, bro. We're one big love fest over here. We every Spurs fan loves every other Spurs fan.
Well, let me get your personal thoughts here. Are you okay with KD in a Spurs uniform?
Am I okay with KD? I've been pushing for KD since he left the Thunder. He's one of my all-time favorite players. I'm barely 30, y'all, so I was able to see him balling throughout like my teenage years, right? He's always been one of my favorite players. Just he's a mid-range killer, and he's a killer. He was a killer on D at the time. He's also an MVP. I celebrated all his accolades. I've been pushing for him to be on the Spurs since the the early 2010s and whatnot. But man, if we could make it happen, Jeff, I'm gonna be so how do you say it? Insufferable on X. I'm gonna be gloating. I'm gonna be honking down Commerce Street myself. I'm not even from San Antonio, but I'm gonna drive all the way up there just to celebrate.
Okay, so what in your mind is a fair deal to offer the Suns for KD?
Okay, starting off with draft picks, I wouldn't offer the 2. I'd offer the 14. Okay. The 14, Keldon, Vassell, and possibly Barnes. Like I said, no Sohan if he's needed in lieu of Barnes' place. I'd make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's as much as I go. I wouldn't push past that. I mean, I love KD as much as the next guy, but he's not worth the whole team. We still need a bench to cooperate. To operate properly, Jeff. It's not going to happen if KD's not our savior, dude.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, you said something earlier, and I meant to bring it up right now. I never thought I'd hear on Locked On Spurs that Sohan could be a deal breaker. I thought he was one of those like touchable trade pieces. But it seems like you mentioned Spurs fans were saying, no, not Sohan, not Sohan.
Well, me and my fellow Susios are going on a battle with the So-Shanians is what I like to call them. my boy Matt Lerma being the captain of that squad. Man, them and a whole bunch of other fans claim Sohan's untouchable. You go down the timeline, that's all you see. If Sohan's involved, they'll move him. His jumper's coming together perfectly. You know, he's on the next way up. He works perfectly beside a Wemby. You know, it's a bunch of delusional BS, Jeff. You know how fan favorites have become very toxic to the whole Spurs organization. You
Jeez.
can't talk down on Kelvin, can't talk down on Sohan. I even have a couple homeboys that aren't feeling Wemby right now, but
What?
Lord forbid you make that public, or they want to, burn you. They
Yeah,
want to kick
no.
you out of town, bro. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about this whole situation, KD Spurs. And my first reaction was, it's not new. The Spurs, at least reportedly, have been chasing, or at least interested in bringing KD since
his Brooklyn years.
his Brooklyn years. Yeah, so this is not anything new when it comes to the Spurs. Now it's hot. I think now you have a situation where there's smoke, there's a raging inferno. I think that's where we're at right now. So we'll see if they pull the trigger. You got recent reports via ESPN Shams that that it's other teams that are ahead of the pack, not the Spurs. So we'll see. It's just so interesting that I would look at the situation and I'm thinking, well, it is a Hall of Fame player. It is a guy that, despite his age, he put up monstrous numbers. But then I also get the cons. I get that his age, that he tends to be injury prone, that he's going to cost a penny, that you got other guys to pay down the line. And I think if the Spurs end up not making a deal for Kevin Durant and he goes elsewhere, I mean, oh no, it's not the number 2 pick and bringing Dylan Harper in, not that, and what if you do trade for Kevin Durant and you have to give up Vassell? To me, I think, as much as I love Vassell, but you might be getting an upgrade with Harper at that position, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
said you wouldn't trade off the second pick, right? If we bring in the likes of Dylan Harper, he's easily Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson's replacement. That gives us someone some energy off the bench too. He averaged 19 points in college ball. I mean, I think he'll be averaging just about the same over here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the pieces are there to be moved, and I think people should focus on the positives of a possible KD trade opposed to the negatives, which is, or even if it's just a 1 or 2 year rental, we're still able to make it to the playoffs and whatnot, and that's a win in my books.
Do you already have your Kevin Durant jersey ready to put on? Is it ready?
Oh man, I tweeted last night. I said, where's the closest place to score a KD Spurs jersey? Either Traders Village or Petite.
Yeah. I say Traders Village because that's close to me. So that's my favorite spot too.
Man, well, you could come on with me. I'll hook you up with a jersey too and a turkey leg, bro. You
Yeah.
put that on me.
A little side note here. They actually host little Comic Cons there. They're small.
Yeah, no, bro.
Yeah.
I think one weekend we went on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We had planned to go on Saturday, and the actor who played Darth Maul was actually there doing signings. I was like, can't believe I missed it out by one day. I wasn't even. It was just a spontaneous trip, bro.
All right. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna just get us off the nerd track before we lose fans here, but I think it's safe to say before we hit the break that Spurs fans are really split. Would you say it's 50-50?
Yeah, 50-50 for sure, man. And it seems to be, I mean, if we could tie it back to the nerd stuff, there seems to be a dark side and a light side when it comes to it. But it all depends. It all depends on which eyes you're looking through, right? Team KD seems to be the positive ones right now. It's like, oh yeah, let's get KD, get us to the playoffs. Then you have the other side saying, the KD followers are actually the ones in the wrong because Spurs shouldn't be skipping steps. We'll get to the playoffs when we're meant to get in the playoffs. Why are we gonna, put ourselves in a situation where we have to offer someone else a max contract? It's just a little here and there, between both sides, Jeff. You're never gonna satisfy anyone. I believe that was something you and I spoke of on one of my previous episodes. You can't satisfy this team, bro. We're spoiled by the winning dynasty. The dynasty of which Spurs once were. And I say were because it's been almost 10 years, or it has been over 10 years since we won anything. But moves need to be made.
2014 was the last title. 2014 was the last. That's a long time ago, everybody. That's a long time ago. 2014. So we'll see what the Spurs do. Hey, we're not done with Sith Lord here. When we get back, we're going to be discussing what the fans think about the new head coach, Mitch Johnson. Are they on his train? Are they off his train? And where they stand with him? So much more right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, but first I want to talk to you about Olipop. Olipop is a new kind of soda made for people who just love the classic taste of soda, but want something that supports their health. With just 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of probiotic fiber in every can, Olipop is reimagining soda in a way that's better for your gut. Look, traditional sodas are loaded with sugar, like 39 grams in a regular Coke. How about 44 grams in an orange Fanta? Olipop flips that script with just a fraction of the sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and its gut-friendly ingredients like OliSmart, a blend to support digestive and just overall health. It's soda that tastes like the real thing, but actually does something good for your body. Look, you could be swapping out your regular soda for Olipop right now and helping you cut back on sugar while still enjoying those nostalgic flavors. And then, of course, you ever notice the difference how you feel after drinking an Olipop? Well, you're going to, when you drink your first one, it's going to make you feel a lot better than maybe bogging you down and feeling weighed down. Get a free can of Olipop right now. Just buy any 2 cans in the store, and they'll reimburse you one right there. Head over to drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA to claim your free can and find Olipop near you. That's drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA. Hey, we're back right here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs, joined by Sith Elias. You see him on your screen right there. By the way, follow him on X at @DarthSucio_95. So those that don't speak Spanish, Sucio just means like dirty, like the dirty boys, that's what it means. So just a heads up. It's nothing too profane, everybody. Don't start thinking more into it, all right? By the way, Sith does have a new show. He's going to be talking about that. It's called Plead the Fifth in just a few minutes. Oh, Plead the Sith, excuse me, in just a few minutes. So we're talking about the fan reaction to this KD Spurs rumors. But what about Mitch Johnson? Yeah, the Spurs named him as Pop's heir. He will be taking over the big boy seat next season officially. No more interim. He's now the official head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Right off the bat, Sid, why do I feel like Spurs fans were kind of lukewarm on this?
Man, I think it has to do with the circumstances behind why Mitch Johnson became our head coach, man. A lot of people were expecting Coach Pop to recover and make his comeback, but it seems like that just wasn't in the cards. I wasn't really a fan of Mitch Johnson in the beginning, but he grew on me. Jeff, we won, 10 or 12 more games than we did last season under him. That's progress in my book. I wouldn't say I believe in Mitch Johnson myself yet. I don't trust in him, but he's warming up to me. I'm warming up to the idea of Mitch Johnson being the head coach of the Spurs.
Yeah. When I looked at the landscape of this fan base when it was announced, I heard names like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! There's Mike Malone out there. You got to be kidding me! There's this guy and that guy and Taylor Jenkins. And what are you doing here, Spurs? Why are you sticking with Mitch?" But first of all, I was not surprised they went with Mitch. That is usually what the Spurs do. They keep it in-house as best they can. And they did that with Mitch. And I think Spurs fans forget Mitch was just not, hey, I'm a new assistant coach and I'm taking over. He has been with the franchise as a whole, from the Austin Spurs to the San Antonio Spurs, for quite some time. Not too surprising. Also, too, reports were out there that other NBA teams chased him, particularly Washington. So there's that. My biggest fear with that, had they gone with somebody else, was that another team would have scooped them up, taken that away, and let's just say whatever they picked, guy they picked, didn't work out. And, Mitch was there. At least he knew what was going on. But Sid, I look at the situation with Mitch. Do you think Spurs fans should give him a fair shot?
Ben, I believe so. How are you going to judge someone who didn't have a whole season under him? It's his first time being called up. I think dude deserves a chance. After next season, if it goes down the drain, then, by all means, cook him publicly if you want. But give him a chance. Coach Pop, when he first started off, he wasn't a coach prior to that. And look what came from that, a whole dynasty, 5 championships. I'm not saying Mitch is going to get his 5 rings, but hell, how do we know if we don't give him a chance?
Do you think Spurs fans have him under the gun right now, have him on a hot seat? Like, for example, and I'm making this up, but I hope it doesn't happen. Let's just say this team goes on a 6-7 game losing skid. You think fan pushback is coming back fierce? Let's just say that even happens maybe early in the season. I mean, we're not even finished with the complete season. Do you think any type of losing streak could part Spurs fans
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cannot.
man. I believe so because a lot of Spurs fans have their emotions drawn in the game beyond what's actually happening on the court, right? So, Mitch Johnson, if he goes on a 6-game losing streak, you could already see them publicly shaming him and whatnot. But when a legendary coach like Coach Pop had us with 2 past seasons with 15-game losing skids, and they didn't publicly shame him, I think that's just us being hypocrites. It's his first year coaching all around. He took over a team that wasn't his. Next season's gonna be his, so we just have to wait and see how that goes. And what I've been saying, I mean, he could be calling up the plays, and it's just not our dudes that are executing it. I don't see Wemby and Sohan, at the time CP3 getting cooked for their play out on the court either. We just got to get our minds out of the gutter. It's not always the coach's fault. His role out there is to put the plays together. It's up to the players to execute, and if it's not being executed, then go after them. Don't go after the coach himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate though, and you're completely right though. It is on the players to execute, but in today's era in the NBA, it's like coaches go out first. It's always players first, then the coaches. Or no, sorry, coaches first, then the players if things will go awry in any club. So I think Mitch Johnson definitely is gonna get his fair share. He'll have he's having right now his own offseason right now. He's gonna be implementing his stamp on things. And you're already seeing little movements there. I mean, recently reports, the Spurs have not confirmed this, but there was a report out there that Mitch Johnson, that team, they're bringing in Corliss Williamson from the Kings to join him on the sidelines in the coaching seat. There was another report via Mark Stein that the Spurs did pursue Houston's Royal Ivy, to bring him to the bench. But it looks like the reports indicated that he's going to stay in Houston. So you're already seeing Mitch Johnson trying to formulate his staff around him. So kudos to Mitch there. Also, too, what I think about it, too, I think I'd like to give him a full season because last year he had training wheels, and that training wheels was Popovich, and he was open about it. Every conference, every talk, he would say, yep, I was on the phone with Pop. Yeah, Pop chewed me out, this and that. So Pop was still in his ear. I'm hoping next season that's it. They cut off the training wheels. You're on your own. If he falls flat in his face, that's going to be on him. Or he falls flat on his face and pops back up. Good. You learned your lesson, move forward. So, Sith, are you expecting, though, him to have his ups and downs as well? Just as a rookie, he's technically, Sith, officially a rookie NBA head coach now.
Yeah, I'm expecting it. Honestly, I'm going in very open-minded. I'm not gonna hang him or anything like that, right? If we go on a losing streak, it is what it is. I don't know, something about the dude rubs me not the wrong way or the right way, right? Just I see some potential in him. I think he's gonna get us to the playoffs this season. Like he's made all the right moves, and on the games where he wasn't taking advice from Coach Pop, no shade there. The Spurs, we saw a whole new scheme, a whole new play calling setup, bro. They dominated under him when they went under his stuff, and he wasn't following Coach Pop's schemes to a T, right? You know what I'm talking about. The first couple games he took over, they looked like a whole rejuvenated squad, and then they kind of started going back to the whole, these weird zone calls, and the ISO ball was non-existent. Sometimes Spurs basketball doesn't work for every Spurs squad, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if I had to put a bow on this segment here, Sith, we had to put it on the scale here. No, we did it in the last segment. Saying, Spurs fans are about 50-50 right now. It's kind of split down the middle with KD, San Antonio rumors. How would you weigh it on the scale? Would you say Spurs fans are like 70%, just not expecting much versus 30 that are expecting him to do well? How would you land that?
No, it's even worse, dude. From what I've been seeing, yeah, it'd probably be about 80-20. He has very, very little supporters. I saw someone tweet out in Mitch We Trust and had a lot of people cook him in the comments, and he just came out. He's like, oh, I was being sarcastic. I was baiting. So it's to the point where they're using Mitch Johnson as rage bait too, Jeff. There's a lot of non-believers out there. How can you love the organization and not love the guy that's running the squad? Yeah. That's just the way I see it. You have to trust in him. If you don't trust in Mitch, you don't trust in the Spurs, because what you see out in the court is what's going to be under Mitch Johnson.
Well, there you have it. That's the pulse of the fan base when it comes to the new head coach for your San Antonio Spurs, Mitch Johnson. But what do y'all think? What do you land on the KD Spurs rumors? What about Mitch Johnson heading into his first official head coaching season? You can let Sith know on X at @DarthSucio_95. He has a show. He's going to talk about it in just a few minutes and get more in depth than that. You can let me know what you think about the polls of the fan base on these topics. Go over to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page and leave a comment. We'll read in the future episode of Locked On Spurs. Coming up next, we're going to play a game of buy and sell with our fan guest right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, but first I want to talk to you about game time. There's nothing like NBA playoffs, am I right? The intensity, buzzer beaters, fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live. And this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Price on the app actually dropped closer to tip-off. They got killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, no surprise fees. Game Time is a total game changer. Look, you'll love what you see when you see that panoramic view from the seat you're about to buy, only on the Game Time app. No surprises. Yeah, you're not going to get any surprises at checkout. They got the Game Time guarantee. Basically, if you find a better price in the same section and same row, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. Hey, NFL tickets, they're coming in fast, right? They might be out already. Want to go get some over at Game Time. Do that right now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we're back right here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs, repping the fan base today. You see him on your screen. He is Sith Elias. Make sure to follow him on X at @DarthSucio_95. Again, if y'all don't speak Spanish, it's not a bad word. Just must eat it. That's all it means, okay? Don't freak out. Don't be all, just saying bad words on here. No, it's not what it is.
It's like, no.
About it. Exactly. It's nothing. Yeah. So why Sith here? He's repping the fan base today on fan episode. So that's basically where I bring in a fan and they take the mic and they talk to us about the pulse of the fan base and then their personal thoughts on particular topics. Now, Sith, you're going to make a little history here on Locked On Spurs. You're going to be the first fan guest to play our next game called Buy and Sell. So, or sell, I should say. So basically what this game is I'm going to throw out some questions for Sith, and he's going to give us his reaction. He's going to buy it or is he going to sell it? He has no idea what I'm going to ask him, everybody. None. Am I right, Sith?
No.
What's coming up, right? Yeah. Are you ready, though?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's hear it, Jeff.
It's kind of almost like your show, right? No scripts, no nothing.
No, nothing.
So,
now I'm in the hot seat.
Now you're in the hot seat. Yeah, all right. So you see it on your screen, everybody. Locked On Spurs, buy or sell. Will Sith be pressing the blue button, buy on a Spurs topic? So you can hit that yellow button or that orange button on your screen, sell. All right, Sith. So here we go. First buy or sell question. Buy or sell, Devin Vassell will finish the Spurs season next year.
So,
oof. Why?
He needs to be moved. Do we want to make any moves? He has to be involved in that trade. He's a great trade asset. He did good for the Spurs with the time that he's been on the team, but it's time to move on. He's not living up to his contract, so it's time for him to get the boot.
Man, vicious there. Sith, the vicious, man. Are you saying you're done with him as a fan?
Oh, I'm done with him. He hasn't lived up to his contract. Much love for him being the main man on the mediocre Spurs squad, but we're moving on up, and there's no place for him on here because he hasn't improved. That's just my opinion.
Wow, there you have it. Sith just right at the throat there. Boom. Buy. He just bought that in a hurry. All right. Buy or sell, Sith. This Spurs team will win 45 games or more next season.
Buy for sure. Now, I believe in the squad. The chemistry's there, and there's still moves to be made. It's going to improve us. We have a healthy Wembanyama or Shaolin Monk, Wembanyama.
There you go. Yeah.
We have a healthy De'Aaron Fox in the mix. Hopefully we keep the likes of Harrison Barnes, but, I'm very confident with the squad we have at the moment, at least the starting members, right? I think for sure we'll make it to the playoffs. I'm shooting for the playoffs. I think we're for sure shooting for the playoffs. But 45 plus wins, that's very doable. It was doable this season, barring those injuries.
Yeah.
Feel we would have gotten there regardless.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think they could have gone. I think they could have gotten the play-in for sure. I think they
Sure.
would have been there for sure if they stayed healthy. All right, next buy or sell question is for Mr. Sith Elias here. Buy or sell, Sith, that your San Antonio Spurs will bring back Mamu.
Dang, you stumped me on that one because I love me some Mamu, but I'll say keep him. Bye. I think they'll bring him back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they'll bring him back. He's not too pricey, and I think the organization sees how much the fans love him, and he's a spark off the bench. Why would you move on from that? He's the only one that you see playing out, moving out there, giving it 100% and more, and we need those type of fellas on the squad. So I say we'll keep Mamu.
Yeah.
And if we don't, I'm gonna be mad.
I think, man, I don't know if he's willing to take a little bit of a hometown discount, though. That's the thing, because remember, they got to pay some guys soon, and if they bring back Mamu, at the end of the pressure, it's just a 1-year deal. Then you gotta let him go. That's the thing. I love Mamu, man. I've seen him in that locker room post game, win or loss. He's positive. See how he interacts with the media. He's really, really good with us. He's funny in the locker room. One story I always share is we're in the locker room. We're waiting for the big dogs to come out. Darren Foxes or Steph Castle doing little locker room interviews. And Mamu stepped out, and none of us jumped. None of us were like, "Oh, let's go together." So he's there putting he's putting his chain on, and he's putting his shoes on, and he's putting his watch on, and he looks at us and he says, "Listen, nobody wants to interview me." And we walked out. So he had the whole room laughing in there. So that was hilarious. All right, final buy or sell question. Now maybe this should be for everybody, but we'll see how Sith handles this one. Buy or sell that Sith Elias did not believe that your host works out. Can you believe that, everybody?
Oh man! All right.
I'm gonna buy that.
All right. Yeah, we'll buy. No, I'll tell you why. Look. You were always invited.
I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
No, but I got to get into it though. You're always inviting me to the gym and whatnot. Everyone's always talking about how swole Jeff is, but HorrorCon just released their pictures, and I saw you basically popping out of that tee you were rocking, looking like the Hulk, sitting next to Michael Myers, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't have to worry about any of these horror icons. He could handle himself.
Yeah, I'm just giving Sith a hard time, man. But no, I haven't invited Sith to go work out with me, and my training is pretty intense. But let me rephrase it. It's not that it can be intense, yes, but I think for me it's just that it's long. Like I can't leave. It's like, man, I'm feeling good. I get that mojo going,
No, I get you.
Like when you're playing a video game and your mom tells you to hit pause or come on time to eat, you're like, I don't want to go yet. Hang on, it's gonna be 5 more minutes. That's how I get. I just need 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I want to do something real fast. But I'm actually, truth be told, I'm actually starting to slim down. So that you might have seen one of the last photos of me at peaked, swolled out, Hulk style.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. Because first of all, I'm short. So there's sometimes where I'm walking past a mirror and it looks like I'm like this, like I'm my neck, So I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't want to do that, So I'm committing more to cardio and kind of cutting back on.
So it's your cutting season, then. I get you.
Yeah, it's the cutting season. Yeah. But what's gonna happen? I'm gonna get the itch, and I'll be like, throw the weight on, throw it on. We're gonna do this right now. We're gonna lift up my PR right now. All right. All kidding aside, that is your buy and sell with fan guest Sith Elias. Since we've been talking about this whole show here, you have a new show that's debuting on the Sweep the League Network. We need to know more about it. How can fans go check it out? What is it?
All right, so the new show, it's called Plead the Sith. It's an interview show, kind of like Jeff Garcia's, except we go a little off the rails. I don't let the guests know what questions are being asked prior, and I put them on the hot seat covering topics, stemming from how do you feel about our San Antonio Spurs, for example, to what gets you mad. Give me some of your pet peeves. And it's up to them if they want to answer publicly or keep that info to themselves. They could always plead the Sith. That's where the name comes from. First episode, I put Rudy Campos Jr. on the hot seat, and he kind of handled his own. And the first half was going kind of nice and cool. And I'm like, I'm gonna start pushing Rudy's button to see what really makes him tick. And he kind of spiraled in the middle of it. But that's what the show's about, y'all. It's unscripted, unrated, and we welcome the chaos on in there. This week's episode, I'll be having MCS's own Christopher Leha. He's had a couple of fan episodes of Locked On Spurs themselves. And Jeff, if you're willing to sit in the hot seat, brother, I'd love to have you on. I'd make it PG for you though. Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got Ken's five eyes always watching me everywhere I go, so I got to keep it PG. But yeah, I took your invite already, so yeah, I'm down. Just give me a date and some times, and we'll work it out. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Hey, is your daughter want to make her debut on Locked On Spurs?
Hey,
Just
Pen,
say hello.
You want to say hi? Come here.
She doesn't have to be on camera. If you don't feel comfortable, it's okay.
No. She's cool. Okay. Just wave the hand. Wave the hand.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Hello there, little one. All of San Antonio is going to see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's my Wembanyama, bro. She's tall. She's getting into basketball. She's telling me herself, can you put on the Spurs? Can you put on basketball?
Nice.
She associates Wemby with the alien, right? So she'll go up to me. She's like, the alien has the ball, and
Oh, that's so cute.
So she's next generation Spurs fan, brother.
Hey, man, Sip is raising his daughter right there in that silver and black fandom. All right, Sid, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. Again, everybody, make sure to follow him on X at DarthSucio95. Don't forget his show on YouTube, Pleading the Sith. It's all part of the Sweep the League network. Y'all know where Rudy Campos comes on. I know that network he has. Yeah, that's where Sith is going to be. So go on YouTube. I think it's just simple, right? Just search Sweep the League, or is it literally Pleading the Sith?
I think it's a Sweep the League TV, and search up Plead the Sip. Should be popping out.
There you go. Simple as that. If you can't figure it out, just go to him on X. You see it on
Yeah, follow me on X. I'll go ahead and plug the link to the channel, and Rudy might be streaming it on X as well.
There you go. All right. Again, Sith Elias, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, KenSpy Plus app. You know what to do. Leave a comment as well. We'll read it on the future episode of Locked On Spurs. We'll be back tomorrow. Guest TBA, but we'll definitely be talking about your silver and black as the draft is right around the corner. Then after that, Summer League. Then after that, it's maybe some, well, I guess like Olympic qualifier. I know Sohan's going to be doing that. So we'll talk about all that. Yeah, as the offseason continues. So for Sith Elias, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.